Welcome to another episode of Our Years. I'm Reema.
This is Barry.
And today I'm very excited to introduce our guests. So we have Elisa Sunga, who is the founder of Cake Picnic. And we're also joined by Danny, who's the co-founder of Cake Picnic. So for people who don't know, Cake Picnic is a touring cake festival that sort of initiated in San Francisco, but now has become a global phenomenon. And it really came on our radars because we love cake. And when we dug deep into the story behind it, it was really fascinating. So I'll give the sort of overview, and Elisa, you can take us to what actually happened. So from what we read, it was you just wanted to go to a park with 15 of your friends and eat cake in Golden Gate Park.
Because who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah. And did you have like and from what we read, you had an open invite and you thought 15 people would turn up, but 300 people signed up, and you both decided to roll with it. And that was the first Cake Picnic.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like what happened. Yes, ultimately it started because I love cake so much and I wanted to eat a lot of it, but I didn't want to bake all of that by myself because that's a lot of work. I've gone through 4 years of the pandemic baking a lot, and I was tired. So I was like, I need to figure out a way so that I don't have to bake all of it by myself.
It's like a true PM delegating.
Yes, exactly. You know, how do you scale cake? It's by delegating it to other people.
I love it.
So yeah, from there, I just posted an invite on my Instagram, and I was just shocked at how viral it was getting, because every time we would refresh the page, it would be like 50, 100, 150.
Wow.
And I was getting so scared. I was like, wait, did I just become the joke of the internet? You know, because I was serious, but I didn't know if other people were serious about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So you didn't think that they were actually going to turn up?
No, because I'm like, wait, do these people bake? You know?
What was your original post? Like, did you say, hey, this is an invite, like, bring a cake, we're going to meet at the park?
Yes, that was literally it.
Wow. And people were just like, I'm in.
Yeah.
How many people actually turned up?
So I had to max the cap at 300 because I felt like after that I was like, I don't know how realistic over 300 would be.
Yeah.
But even up until we were planning the event or getting ready for it, we weren't sure how many people were actually going to show up because it wasn't ticketed. There was no money involved. It was literally just saying yes on that partial invite.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, people flake and cancel all the time.
True.
And I'm asking you to bring a cake. That's a lot of commitment. So I was like, I don't know how many people are going to come. So I think in planning for it, we prepared for like 50%, hoping for the best. I think with event attendance, the average that they were saying was like 60%, 70% attendance on like free events.
Yeah.
So we planned for 50. And I think the first one in San Francisco, April 2024, was 183 cakes.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So way more than the 15 that I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So maybe for some of our viewers who don't know what Cake Picnic is, maybe Elisa can kind of walk us through what happens on the day of Cake Picnic.
Yeah, for attendees, it's a pretty short event. I want to say it's only a 2-hour event, so it's not that long. I mean, the whole day it's an experience because you're preparing your cake, you're getting to the venue and whatnot, but Cake Picnic experience itself, for the first hour you'll get to the location, you'll register and check in, and then we usually do that for the first hour just to make sure all the cakes are ready and they're on display. Once everyone has checked in and all of the cakes are on display, then I'll do a quick welcome note, welcoming everyone to Cake Picnic, and then we will go into cake cutting for the second hour. So then after that second hour, it's kind of just like hang out, chill, eat your cakes. But usually it's the first hour, cake registration, get ready. The second hour is let's eat and get cake.
And anyone can just go and get as much cake. Do they have to bring a cake in order to get another slice of cake?
No, well, you can't even enter the event.
No cake. I love it.
You
No
can't
cake, no
even enter
entry.
the event if you don't have a cake. No cake, no entry.
That
Yes.
makes sense. Yeah. Because I was just going to say, if someone can just like pitch up and eat all the cake they want.
No, I mean, you can if you
contribute.
brought a cake. So usually what we've seen now with the 7 tour stops is no cake, no entry. So everyone there has a cake. So like I get one of the questions we get all the time is like, does my +1 need to bring a cake? Does my mom need to bring a cake? Does my like child need a cake? And I'm like, yeah, in my mind, I'm just like, if you're a living, breathing
You
thing,
bring a cake.
you should have a cake at this
Yeah,
event. You know,
yeah.
that's why we had to boil it down to like no cake, no entry, and that tagline is so fun.
Yeah.
I love this.
But you can't even enter the event without it. So how
That
it
makes
works
sense.
is that everyone will divide into groups, and every group will have a chance, about 5 minutes to go and get cake slices. And then once all the groups have gone, then we'll open it back up to everyone. So take as much cake as you want.
See.
Please take it all. We don't want any leftovers.
Yeah.
But even then, there's still so much leftovers. At the end of the event, I'm forcing people to take cake home. I'm like going around the picnic blankets and I'm like, take more cake home. And they're like, no, we can't. It's so funny.
You can call me up at the end of the events. I'll be there.
Yes.
Yeah, all these questions Barry's asking is only for her personal knowledge.
She's trying to get ready.
Yeah, she's getting prepped.
But I like the idea of it because like I also enjoy baking. So it's like that's why I really wanted to go as well.
Yeah,
'cause
October
we get to,
19th.
if we get tickets.
Yeah.
But now that we're friends.
Yeah.
Why do you think that it went so viral? What's your hypothesis?
My hypothesis is that it was so new. Like, when have you ever been at an event where there was more than 10 cakes? Like, I think one of the coolest facts about Cake Picnic that I love sharing is that if you put together all of the birthdays you've ever been to in your life, all of the weddings, all of the celebrations, there is more cake at one Cake Picnic event than you've had in your entire lifetime.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's so cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, when do you ever get to eat like a matcha cake, a
was just
raspberry
gonna
cake,
say, all
a
different
Neapolitan
cakes.
cake,
Yeah.
an ube cake in the span of like 2 minutes?
Yeah.
That's like impossible. It's like heaven. You know.
Yeah. And so then the first one had little over 150, 180 people.
We have 180.
180 people. And then did you have to organizing it for 15 people versus, you were planning for 50% of 300. It was very obviously shocking and you had to like react quickly. And I know you have a background in program management for UX, but and particularly for events, how did you guys like sort of rally up the logistics of it?
Yeah, it spiraled quite a bit because I think when it was 15 people, it's like show up at a park and everyone will just like, we'll form a circle, hold your cakes, introduce yourself, like where you're from, what cake did you bring, and like that was the vision.
Yeah.
But as it scaled to 180, I was doing math in my head of like, okay, if we all took 10 seconds to introduce ourselves, that would be a lot of time. And it's just like, how do you form a circle that big? It just wouldn't be effective.
Yeah.
And so had to rejigger even the programming itself. But even the park itself, with the 15 people, I was like, we're just going to show up to the park.
Right.
Yeah.
But then as soon as it got to like over 100, then it was a special event.
Yeah. And
you had to apply to
permits.
permits. And
Yeah.
for the longest time, I was resisting it because I was like, what do you mean? It's just a picnic at a park. Why do I need a reservation?
Right.
But just to cover my bases, I applied for a permit like I think 3 weeks before, so very late.
Did you know you had to?
No, I didn't. And
Okay.
I was resisting it for a long time, but
Yeah.
Danny and friends were like, you should get a permit. And so I finally was like, okay, fine, let me look into it. But like 3 weeks before the event, the availabilities of park was pretty limited. So thankfully I was able to get one. I think the capacity was like 150. So it was still not a lot. But it was good that we got a space. But then as we were thinking about the experience of the event, it's like you couldn't have 180 people all go up at the same time. That would be chaotic. How are people taking cake slices home? So really had to think about the bigger event and what that meant versus like when it was 15 people.
Yeah. How did you do that? How did you do the user journey of like when a person comes with a cake, what is their journey?
Yeah. I wish I had a more like beautiful, I wish I could say it was like an elaborate plan from the very beginning, but I was pretty much like just doing it as it happened. Like I think 2 days before I sat down and I was like, okay, what is the end-to-end experience? You go to the park, you line up. So I think just walking through it as an attendee myself and just like visualizing the steps of the process of like what needs to happen.
Yeah.
So putting myself as the user, walking through the agenda and making decisions about, where's the line going to be? What is cake registration going to look like? What happens after that? Where do people go? So I think my answer there is like putting myself as the user and just like going through that journey myself and then planning for that.
And it was just the two of you. Did you have any help?
Yeah, we had friends volunteer, but it was mostly Danny and I.
Don't forget your parents.
Yeah, and shout out parents. My parents have been so helpful. They've gone to we've done 7 now, and they've gone to every single one.
That's so
That's so nice.
sweet.
Do they live in the Bay?
Yes.
Okay.
They're also in Antioch, but
Okay.
it's so funny because Cake Picnic is like this global phenomenon.
Yeah.
But it's literally me, Danny, and my parents.
Wow.
So
That's
the
amazing.
team.
They must have been I mean, it was like a shocking. I'm sure when you both were going through it, it must have been like, whoa, this is actually happening. What were your parents' reactions?
I think for the first San Francisco one, my parents don't really ask a lot of questions. So they were like, okay, we're going to one of her events, you know, like the usual thing. But we showed up, and then so many people started coming, and I think they were like, what is happening?
Yeah.
You were with them more. Were they saying?
Oh, I was actually with them on the hill, and
Oh,
as
yeah.
we were looking down at the event, her mom was like, she's a celebrity.
Well, I guess you are.
You
now.
are.
Yeah, my mom is so funny because every tour stop she will like interview people, and she'll be like, do you know Elisa? She's my daughter. Like she'll just go up to people,
sweet.
just like interviewing
She's so
them.
proud
Like,
of you.
do you know Salted Rye? Like that's my daughter. And I tell her to stop all the time, but you can't stop her.
That's so sweet. They must be really proud of what
They
you've done.
are. It's
Yeah.
really fun because my dad will be like, now he made an Instagram account to follow all the Cake Picnic
That's
videos.
so
So
sweet.
he'll watch all the reels that everyone makes, and he'll like look for his video and everyone, and then he'll come home and then he'll be like, look, and he'll show me when he makes a cameo. It's so funny. But my mom and dad have been so helpful because like my dad will do all of the garbage disposal, and like he'll set up the tables, and so like it's really helpful that they're there.
Yeah, that's so sweet. So, so that was the first one in San Francisco, and then you did the Palace of Fine Arts one at Legion of Honor.
No, the one after that. So pretty much after the San Francisco one, my DMs and emails was just like, come to Malaysia, come to Singapore,
Wow.
come to Taiwan, come to
Yeah.
Paris, come to like literally everywhere in the world. And it's not my full-time job. It's a passion project for sure. And so I was like, I can't, but I have trips planned to LA and New York, so we can do those. So we did LA a month after, and then New York in the fall. And then the Legion of Honor reached out around November because they were celebrating their 100th centennial. And so they were like, we want to celebrate with Cake Picnic. And at the time I was really excited about it because I've never been to a 100th birthday party before. And I felt like that was so special. And if you're going to have a 100th birthday party, you need a lot of cakes.
Definitely.
Facts.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we ended the first year, 2024, of Cake Picnic with 4 stops and over 1,000 cakes. And I was like, wow, this is
Wow.
way beyond what we thought would happen.
Yeah.
That's
And,
incredible.
Like this was not your full-time job, and still isn't.
Still isn't,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how do you like balance between
Yeah,
the two?
it's hard. I want to say for the beginning, for most of 2024, it was like a lot of weeknight working, like 6 to 8, and then on weekends, a lot of time dedicated to it. So it's like not as glamorous as it sounds. Literally, like I have to get off corporate work, rest and rejuvenate for like a bit, eat dinner, and then get back into it. And there were days when I was just like so tired of it, and I had to just gaslight myself of like, this is awesome, like, like trying to romanticize the process.
Right.
But I do love it. And what's been helpful is like Danny has leaned in a lot more as it's continuing to grow.
Yeah.
And so Danny has been leading a lot of the things for like an example is like we're going to Minneapolis. So Danny is taking over the Minneapolis planning. So
How do you get started with that planning? I guess like it's such a big event. Like how do you know where you want to go, and like how do you coordinate with all the people?
New city.
Right.
So normally we would just start asking people around what venues they would recommend. And then sometimes we go look at the comments in the social media and get like an idea from our fans of locations. If they say certain cities that we plan on going, we reach out to them and ask them, oh, what events do you normally go to, and what places do you think would be great, especially hosting Cake Picnic, because so many people want to come to the events, but the only limitation is the venue size, because we can only have so many people there. But yeah, from there we start reaching out to Parks and Recs, try and get the permit for it and see what other things that we need. And then from there we start planning and coming up with an idea of how we want this event to run, and talk to local bakers, see if they want to come to the event as well. And then, plan when we're going to release tickets and figure out how we're going to tell people, because we mostly use Instagram.
Right. Right.
And the cool thing about Cake Picnic is like we don't use any advertising at all.
I was just gonna ask you,
Yeah.
like, how did you guys, besides the blowing up, the initial blow up, like, how do you guys market it when you go to new cities?
Instagram, really.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of people are always asking, like, where can we like go to know when the next event's going to be?
Right.
We usually have a list on the website, but there aren't like specific dates because we still have to figure out when will the permit go through, what date will be best, and to see like, you know, if it's going to be on a weekend, because we try and make it easy for everyone to be able to access it during the weekend, because that's usually when people are off.
Yeah. We're on the wait lists, by the way.
I was just gonna say, how do I get, now that I know you
Yeah.
personally?
Yeah, the Legion of Honor one was wild because I was on the wait list and it sold out in
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
There was a lot of drama with that too.
Yeah.
Was there?
Yeah, people thought we were just like scamming people because the tickets sold so quick. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the tickets sold within like a minute.
Yeah, a lot of people thought the
Wow.
website was broken or like the tickets just weren't getting released.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
really just goes that quickly.
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, yeah, as first time experience, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it was
We actually
so
talked about
impressive.
it before it even came out, and we're like, we need to go to this. So we waited for you guys to release it.
Yeah,
And
but like it was so popular,
Yeah.
and I was like, it's wild because that's the other thing. Like this journey, like from like I remember reading about y'all back last year, and from that to like a sellout at like Legion of Honor, it's pretty cool. You should be very proud of yourself.
Well, it's kind of scary actually on our end because it's like at least for me, it was the first time that I was getting like hate because a lot of people in the comments were upset of like, what is happening?
But that's
Like
out of your
people are
control.
bots and like
Yeah.
scalping tickets.
That's
Or
tough.
like a lot of people were in the comments of like saying things like, let's host our own. And I'm like not trying to gatekeep or anything. It's just literally our challenge is the demand and
Right.
capacity of events. And so even for the March Legion of Honor event, like we were talking to my parents about it and we were like 1,400, people, or I think it was 1,800, I think, of like who were on the list. And my parents were so scared. We were scared for like weeks leading up to it because we were like, oh my gosh, what chaos is going to happen? So it's both like good and bad,
Yeah,
the demand.
yeah.
Yeah.
Were you surprised? I'm sure the hate was like surprising, and you didn't see that coming. How did you cope with that?
Talking to Danny a lot, venting, but I think a lot of the times just reminding myself or telling myself like, because at first I didn't understand it because I was like, everyone, it's just cake, like relax. But then I tried to put myself in their shoes of like, I would also be really upset if I wasn't able to go to like the cake
Something so
picnic,
fun.
something so big and
Yeah.
something like with
So fun.
have that many cakes.
Yeah.
And I think it just took time too of just sitting with it and just, like I stopped reading comments for a while about that, But
Yeah.
thankfully, I think Cake Picnic too is self-selecting in terms of the community that it builds, because to me, you're not following Cake Picnic if you're like mean or like a hater. You're
Right,
like a
right.
joyful person that like wants community, wants cake, wants sweetness. So I think it's nice that a majority of the community is like positive and nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah.
What were some other growing pains that you didn't foresee? The logistics for sure, right? Like, yes, you go from 15 to 1,800, there is a lot. But what are things that you surprised you about how quickly it grew?
Or any like challenges?
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
You guys
I think
faced?
my least favorite thing about Cake Picnic is customer service. Like for me, I host Cake Picnic because I really want to just eat a lot of cake and hang out with friends and have a good day. But I think like as I scale that, I think there's like this hunger in me of like bigger. Bigger means more cake. I can eat more cake the bigger we go. And with that comes a lot more people with questions of like, can I bring my dog? Does my 2-year-old need to bring a cake? Is a tart a cake? Can I bring my cake in like a container?
The
Like
complexity.
these questions
Yeah.
of like, where's my ticket? I can't find my ticket. Where do I RSVP? And it's a lot. I wish I could just focus on like attending the event, eating cake,
Right.
but it like comes with a lot of logistics of helping people understand the process and the information of the event as well, so that they can also have a good experience. But it's like those questions, I think when I get it, I'm just like, this is not it, or I don't enjoy that part.
Another thing I realized too is that a lot of people don't read. They don't read the website. They don't read the instructions.
Yep,
They don't really
yep.
read the emails. So one thing I did realize is that they react better to videos. So we've been trying to do a better job at like making videos to send to the attendees before the event. That way they have a better idea of like, what to do. But yeah, we have a lot of people asking the same questions constantly, and those answers are usually on the website.
You know, it's funny because like a lot of like companies have this frequently asked questions. And
Yeah.
I guess like we understand it now, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're in that
Yeah.
position.
Yeah, so we have Cake Picnic FAQs. I actually need to build like the LA ticket page soon, and I was like, okay, definitely need to have an FAQ about it.
Do you build the ticket page yourself?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
Literally, it's me, ChatGPT, Danny, and my parents.
Wow.
Dream team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Power posse for sure.
But yeah, so it's like this weekend. It's my weekend it's a long weekend, but a lot of it's like Cake Picnic planning. I have to the process of like launching tickets. I have to like build the page,
Yeah.
the comms timeline of how to release that information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like because you started off with wanting just to eat cake and get your friends together, and now that there's like a lot more like logistics and things that you want to or need to do that is not so fun, like how do you keep yourself motivated to do all of that?
That's a good question. I think the reminding myself of like what the end outcome is. It's like, okay, I'm doing this right now. It sucks. But ultimately, once the event happens, I'll be happy and I'll have cake and I'll be happy again. But also it's just like help from Danny. All of the Cake Picnic too, as much as we say it's me, Danny, and my parents, it's also a lot of volunteers and friends. What we've been surprised by is just like how much everyone wants to lean in. So like on the website, there's a volunteer page and
we should do that.
there's like 4,000 people on the list. And honestly, it's like not only is there like an overwhelming demand for Cake Picnic tickets, but also an overwhelming amount of support. Now the struggle is like, okay, there's 4,000 people on this list. How do I even manage that? Because I think even just having volunteers is so helpful, but there's still that element of like, okay, we need to onboard them, go through the flow, make sure they understand everything so that they can also start helping out. So yeah, I think Cake Picnic has been helped out by a lot of volunteers, and it wouldn't be possible without everyone too.
Yeah. You said you gaslit yourself to and remind yourself constantly of how much cake is available at the end, and that keeps you going. Are you scared that there'll be a point when the joy of it is gone? Is that a fear you have?
I've definitely thought about that because right now, like I've gone to all of them. I think Danny and I and my parents are like the lucky ones in the planet where we can say we've gone to all 7 Cake Picnics tours. Actually, one of the surprising things that we've found is like people have attended multiple. So we've had friends and just like attendees that have gone to multiple stops. And I think that's so incredible that people will travel for it. I think that's the ideal user, is that you love cake so much that you are following this cake festival on tour. I think that's amazing. But back to that point of like, will it ever get tiring? I've thought about it and I was like, oh, I don't want that to happen. And I think what's helpful is like when Danny and other volunteers step in to help out with more of the logistics so that I don't have to burn myself out on that part and can focus on the parts that I'm excited about. What
are some of the best cakes that you've had? I know it's a tough question and you can't have a favorite, but like stuff that you were really like inspired by, or you were like, whoa, I didn't think that would go well in a cake.
No, that's a good point, because I think I love Cake Picnic for many reasons, but one of them is that as a baker myself, it's an R&D event where I get to try different flavors, different cakes, and that helps inspire my own baking at home. So a lot of the events I've gone, like a specific one was for the Legion of Honor event, there was like this black sesame marmalade cake, and I was like, wow, I never thought that combination, but I loved it. So I think about that a lot still, and so trying new flavors and combinations and bringing that home with me helps me out a lot. But in terms of what cake has been my favorite, I always go for the chocolate cakes. So most of my box, the majority of it, if you look into it, it's like, I want to say 60% chocolate cake. I'll add in a few others for variety, for color differentiation, but I beeline for the chocolate cakes.
What about you, Danny? What was the best cake that you've had in all the Cake Picnics?
Well, to be honest, the only cake I've ever had was the princess cake I saw at the Legion of Honor, because there was a, I think it was Fox News newscaster at the LA Cake Picnic, and he was talking to me about how he was looking for princess cake. And he kept talking about it, and I was looking for it, and he couldn't find it. So when I saw it for the first time at the Legion of Honor, since then I've seen it at almost every event. But I only had it that one time at the Legion of Honor. And majority of the time, I'm just so busy during the events, I never have time to even have any cake. So it's not until I get home with Elisa that she has her spread, and then we just start trying it.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. So you don't try the cakes at the events, because
No, I don't. A lot of people always ask me, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm always just so busy, like recording, like
Right.
video content, taking photos, and talking to the attendees, asking them for feedback during that time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't eat during the event either. It's just too
Oh,
chaotic. I think as
yeah.
the host, it's like too much going on, and I want to be able to enjoy it and savor it. So we usually, what our routine has been is we'll do cake
you
picnic,
get the first slice,
and then we'll go to Korean barbecue, like all you can eat Korean barbecue. We'll eat so much meat, it's crazy. We'll be there for like 2 hours eating meat, and then we'll go home, and then we will eat the cake.
How do you have
Nice.
space?
Yeah, well, the cake stomach is its own
Yeah, of
little
course,
container.
of course.
And to be honest, we don't really eat that day.
Yeah, there's just too much
Uh,
going on because we'll wake
right.
up at like 6 a.m., prep, drive to
Right.
San Francisco. We live quite far away. So yeah, we need to do a better job of nutrition during cake day.
But that's so nice. So you get the first slice of all the cakes then.
Not really. Well, yeah, because I do the welcome note. There's like a little like welcome to cake picnic. We'll sing happy birthday to everyone who's celebrating a birthday that month.
So cute.
And then I'll announce the colors, and because I'm announcing it like near the speaker or whatnot, that means I'm not at the front lines.
Oh.
But thankfully I've been to enough cake picnics where I'm like, there's a lot of cake, I don't
Yeah.
need to worry, it's
Right.
fine. So I don't have that anxiety that most first timers have of like, I need to get all the cake. It's actually so
Yeah.
funny because we have to remind everyone as they're lining up in their groups of like, the volunteers do this too. They help. They set the mood of like, don't worry, there will be a lot of cake. Relax, breathe, calm down.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's been helpful.
Have you guys done an international one yet?
Yeah, London.
How was that? How was that different from what happened in the
Yeah.
US? The culture shock? Were there culture shocks?
Yes, definitely.
And much more
There's
logistics.
a
Yeah.
heat wave.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was a heat wave
So
that
it was
week.
funny because the grass was all green and perfect the week before, and then the
Yeah.
heat wave came, and then when we did the event, it was all yellow.
Oh.
We were like, oh man, how's this going to turn out? And then we were also worried about the rain.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, we were lucky because once the first event ended, it started raining, and we had about an hour before the next event happened. So we had to move all the tables under a tree, and then once we finished doing that, it stopped raining, and then we had to get ready for the
Oh,
second
wow.
event. But it turned out that the event looked even cooler under the tree. And yeah, we had a lot of amazing cakes that second event as well.
Yeah, the cake gods were looking out for us. We were lucky that the rain only happened during like the break,
Yeah.
and then it stopped.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
really worked out. What were the culture shocks?
I think a lot of language was different. So planning for an international cake picnic was so much more challenging because like
I'm sure.
even just the time zone, the process for the royal parks in London was like so difficult. So we actually formed a London team. So Evan and Maylin from London was like the London leads. My friend Shannon from Amsterdam was also, because she's in that time zone, was helping, and she flew to the event to come. And so they were like the core team, like managing all of the logistics and ordering all the supplies there. So that was really helpful. But in terms of like the process itself, like they call garbage rubbish. And so just like that switching like all the comms in the emails of like, okay, every time it says garbage, it must say rubbish. Working with their parks department was a lot more bureaucratic. They were just much more strict. Like we had to have a certified first aid person there at the event. Garbage had to be handled differently. In terms of the cakes too, a lot of differences. So that's another cool thing about Cake Picnic is that every tour stop is different. It's like the flavor of that city shows up to the Cake Picnic event. And depending on the seasonality too, it's like spring Cake Picnic in San Francisco will be very different from like a fall Cake Picnic. So I'm excited about that because we had spring Cake Picnic in SF this year, and then we're going to do one in October. So that's much more fall. But in terms of like flavors in London, it was a lot of like Earl Grey, lavender, and those kind of floral flavors. And one of my favorite cakes is like peanut butter and red velvet. There was no red velvet, no peanut butter. And I was like, that makes sense. Those are very American flavors.
Yeah.
What was that peanut butter and red velvet like?
No, there was none.
Oh, there were none at
in
all.
London,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because that's not their thing. But it makes sense that like
they're
Earl
probably
Grey-
like, why are you eating red for?
But red velvet was probably one of my favorites.
Yeah,
too.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my box is like chocolate and red velvet.
And I suppose like if you did it in like Asia, it would be also
Yeah,
much
exactly.
different. That's so fun.
Like
that
onde
you get
onde,
to-
mango,
Yeah.
passion fruit, coconut.
Pandan,
pandan.
mango.
Yes.
Are you planning to do one in Asia?
Yes. So we are hoping to do the 2026 Cake Picnic World Tour. And so
Ooh.
really hoping at least one per continent as much as we can manage. So yes.
That's so fun.
You guys are planning for that right now?
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
Ideally, if we get all of our ducks in a row, we want to announce it in January because I think that's like when people are planning kind of their year, you set new aspirations of your goals for that year or your resolution. So I think it would be cool if we announce it in January and people can build it into their planning for the year. Like, you know, I don't know if you guys do this, but with my friend group, we like do a vision board for the year. And so it'd be cool if people put Cake Picnic on their vision board.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's such a cool dream. or like a cool goal, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, what would like young Eliza think of like what you've done?
Oh my gosh. It just, there's a lot about Cake Picnic that I never imagined or saw in like my bingo cards. And I honestly have Danny to thank for it because I think he's much more bold than I am. So he'll always be like, what if we did Cake Picnic at his football stadium? What if we went international? So he's always like just more, I don't know how you say it, like bombastic with the ideas. Whereas I'm like, yeah, he's very go big or go home. Whereas I'm like, like my program manager mind is like, that's so much people, the logistics. And I'm scared, you know, the reality of like the logistics part.
Yeah.
So it's helpful to balance out that energy of like wanting to do a lot versus like the realistic part of it. So my 13-year-old self would definitely be like, wow, you're eating a lot of cake now. But also that's so cool that you've literally made a global cake festival phenomenon that so many people around the world are inspired by, want to attend. And like even just on tour, there's so many memorable stories. Like for London, I remember I was just like walking around and a mom stopped me and she was like, I just wanted to say thank you for this event. I want you to know how meaningful it has been for me and my daughter. We baked for the first time together and she was just getting so emotional. So I started getting so emotional so just like creating this event that means so much to people is, I don't know, I get chills about it. Like I never imagined.
I'm getting goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm curious for Danny, like what did you think? Did you think it was ever gonna?
Oh, after the first event I did. Yeah.
See, this is where we're different.
Yeah.
I think for me, I was like, wow, that was amazing. And then Danny's like, let's go.
It's just a start.
Yeah, I just like, I mean, just standing on the hill on the first event with her dad, I was just like, oh, this is going to be huge. Like, I can't even believe, like, it got so big and the fact that people wanted this. But the more I started talking to people, the more I learned that, because I go to community college too, majoring in electrical and computer engineering, and I talk to a lot of students and a lot of Gen Zs, and what I realized is that a lot of them don't drink, a lot of them don't do drugs, they don't smoke, and they want something to do on the weekend. And what happened during COVID, it was a lot of event planning companies ended up going out of business. And there aren't as many events anymore around San Francisco. So they want something to do, but they don't know what to do. And when I started doing Cake Picnic and telling people about it, they were just like amazed by the fact that I was even able to do it with Elisa. And they're constantly asking me, like, when's the next one? I want to go again. This is like a dream come true. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to go to something like this. And to me, I was just like, wow, I didn't think people would want this, but yeah, they do. And also one thing I learned is that a lot of people started learning how to bake during COVID. A lot of them started baking bread and then from there transitioned into pastries, into cakes. And since then, they've wanted to be able to like put their stuff out there. And that's where social media helps, because people could literally record from start to finish how they created their cake, what inspired them to do it, why they did it the way they did, and what they loved about it. And one thing I realized too is during the event, what people do is they create the story from when they got the ingredients, they put it together, before the event, during the event, and the aftermath. And we have hundreds of people posting videos of this and tagging us in it. and saying like, this is what we did, this is what cake picnic's like, this is how much fun we've had. Even at London, because we have people having little place cards next to their cake so that people know what's inside them. They put their Instagram handles on there. And so we have bakers coming up to me, like asking me, like, who made this cake? And I'm just like, look at the place card. They look at it, check the handle on Instagram, look around, try and find the baker, and then they instantly try and connect with them. And it's kind of cool because it's just like, you know, you're just vibing with all these people that just love cake.
And that's so great because like you're creating, like you said, the community that you wanted to create from the beginning, right? And it must feel like so satisfying and so fulfilling to see that come to life.
Yeah, we get a lot of comments of saying like you found your people, and I think that's accurate because I think it takes a special kind of person that will like bake a whole cake for an event. Like, you know, there's so many other things that you could do with your life and time that for someone to decide like, yes, I want to do cake picnic, I'm choosing cake picnic, it's so special and such an honor. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Out of all the events, and I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but what has been your favorite events or like favorite parts of any event?
My favorite was the first San Francisco one. I think it was magical in terms of like so unexpected. Like it was the first cake picnic of its kind. I think prior to that moment, no one had ever imagined that many cakes in one point. Like I think like you never thought to yourself like, oh, I want to be at an event with like hundreds of cakes prior to that. And then I think that was the moment where like it started to spread in people's kind of minds or hopes and dreams of like, oh, like that's a thing that I could want and be a part of. So to me, that was just such a beautiful day of trying something new, putting it out there in the world and seeing other people equally happy and in love with the idea and seeing it. But also it just helped that it was a beautiful location, a perfect day. The cakes that were there were stunning. So I think all of the elements were there. So that is my favorite cake picnic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the Legion of Honor is my favorite
Which
one
one?
too. The first one.
The first one. So
Yeah.
November 2024.
Yeah, it was kind of like we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into because also there was another event happening at that same time.
And they reached out to you to do the event, right?
Yes, actually, a big shout out to Maria.
Yes, Maria. Maria from the Legion of Honor. I think she's like the reason that Cake Picnic is as big as it is.
Yeah, and let that be known in the record.
Yeah.
There's no way we could have done it without her.
So that's your favorite Cake Picnic?
Yeah. I think my favorite part was when you asked me to take the drone shot, and I didn't have any practice with it because the last time I messed with the drone was back in 2017, and Elisa had just bought this tiny DJI neon drone, and I was trying to figure out how to work it because I didn't have a controller, and I realized like, oh, my phone's the controller. So I started playing with it, and then I got it to go up, and then I started recording it. And the cool thing is that it's such a different perspective when you get a drone shot from the sky and you have all these cakes.
Right.
And the cool thing was that the tables were arranged like an arrow.
Okay.
And they were all just like equally distanced apart from each other. And then you have the crowd in the background.
Wow.
And then there was another shot where I was able to get the tables, Elisa in the center, the crowd, and then there's the Golden Gate Bridge in the back. And it was just such an epic shot.
Yeah.
And I kept telling my mom about it, and she told me, like, I think that's the one shot that made it go viral, because after that, like, you see all these people super interested in it, because she thinks like the Legion of Honor is the most beautiful place in the world. So she loves going there. But having like the Cake Picnic there, that's just like a dream come true.
Yeah, we're very lucky. The San Francisco Cake Picnics have been like some of the most beautiful on the tour.
You know, if you'd asked me where like an event like Cake Picnic would have originated, I would not have guessed San Francisco.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
The fact that San Francisco, we can boast like the biggest cake picnics, the most beautiful, like that's crazy. You would think probably I would be like LA maybe.
I would have picked
Or
like
New
LA or
York.
New York because they're
Yeah.
more of the food scene,
right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why this story is so special, because it's from in a city
like
that
random.
sure.
Like
Yeah.
you're known for like Apple, Tech, Google, and it's like
Exactly.
cake now.
Cake.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, we're putting cake on, or we're putting San Francisco on the cake map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny too that like I've tried to explain what Cake Picnic is to people, and it's hard for them to understand. So I just always show them a video, and then once they see it, they're like, "Oh my god, I want to go to this thing."
Yeah.
And they could be people that aren't even interested in cake, but as soon as they see the video,
Yeah.
they're like, "I want to go to this thing. How do
Yeah.
I sign up?"
Yeah. it's like one of those dreams you have as a kid where you just want to eat like hundreds of cakes and like, but like nobody really does anything about it
I
anymore.
know, until now, you know. So that's what I feel. It's like Cake Picnic was born out of this just like whimsical, childish desire, and ultimately made a reality by pure will and like determination of like, I have this pretty crazy idea, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna
just do
just
it.
see how far it can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you go bigger, do you think you're going to have to get in more people, or do you want to keep it small?
It's a good question. Danny and I chat about that a lot.
It would be nice
To be able to eat the cake.
Go big or go home.
just to relax too
Yeah.
during the events, because they could get pretty stressful. We worry about like logistics for sure, because if you don't have it planned out right, things could go wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a lot of other people try and replicate Cake Picnic in other areas as well, and our biggest worry is that when like they use our name, that, you know, if something bad happens, it comes back to us. So that's why we ended up trademarking the name too, just to protect ourselves. But it's really important that when you plan an event, that you plan it strategically and make sure that you think about things that could go wrong, because anything could happen, but you also have to have a backup plan in case things go wrong. And that's why we do the things that we do.
Yeah. So for now, we'll keep it small. I think like until we feel comfortable with like how it will grow.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're so invested in it. Like we're involved in everything. And it's like when we think about how many tour stops we want to do next year, it's like, oh, that's like a lot of cities to like travel to, which is cool, but also it's like a lot.
Yeah.
So I think for now, keeping it small, but I don't know. No, we haven't talked about like expansion plans as much yet.
But you said you don't want to do this full time. You still want to keep your job in tech.
At least for me, yeah, I think it's important to just keep it as a passion project. Because I think back to your earlier points of like, how do you make sure it's still fun? Because
Yeah.
I think if I really quit everything else and made it my full-time thing, the magic of it will just disappear. Because
Yeah.
rather than being like, oh my gosh, how many cakes can I eat? I'll be worried about like, oh my gosh, now I have like a team and like it's like an operating thing that I need to manage. It will be a less kind of joyful experience for me, and that would change it. So I think for me, it's really important to keep it as a passion project.
Yeah, that makes sense. In terms of like anyone wanting to like start out on like a small passion project, would you have any advice for anyone just starting out?
Yeah, I think for me, when I think about this, the advice that comes to mind quickly is like, you should have started yesterday. Like, do it. There's no
just do it.
reason not to. So you should have started yesterday and start small. I think like even with Cake Picnic, all I wanted to do was 15 people. But then suddenly I got rolled into a wave of like more. And I'm also just the personality type of quantity. So I'm just like, yes. And then I think about like, when I say yes to bigger events, short term, I'm like, oh my gosh, that means more cake. But now I'm trying to be better of like, okay, long term. When I say yes to bigger things, that also means more weeknights working, more weekends gone. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to be more mindful of like balancing it out so I don't burn out.
Yeah.
But I think that's my biggest advice. You should have started yesterday, start small and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
I think it's also important to not have expectations, because I didn't start it to be like, okay, I want to have a traveling, touring cake phenomenon.
Yeah.
I was literally like, I want to eat cake. What do you think, Danny?
Just understand that if you do want to create your own event, it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time, and be just prepared to make those sacrifices.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, it sounds great, but then when you kind of get into it, you realize like, oh wow, there's a lot of stuff I have to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like red tape I have to go through. A lot of things like insurance, a lot of risk. But that's just like anyone trying to, you know, start their own business in general. It's easier to work for someone than to start your own company.
Yeah.
But once you start your own company, you kind of realize like, oh, this is kind of cool. I either want to do this, or I kind of just rather have something more stable where I just work for someone. But I definitely would recommend everyone just trying it out once, just to see if, you know, it's for them.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
they'll get a better understanding that next time when they work for someone, like, oh, I kind of know what they're going through.
Yeah. I guess you don't know until you try.
Yeah, because you know, there's whenever you go to work, there's always going to be someone complaining, but they don't really understand what's really going behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we've had a lot of guests on this show, and everybody, a lot of them are entrepreneurs, and they do talk about how difficult it is, but none of them would do it any other way. They know that it's work and time, but all of them would rather just work on their dream than for anyone else. And so I think that's the common trait of people who want to build, you know, whether it's in the creative field or even build something physically. Like they just know that that's their mission.
Yeah, there's a certain type of satisfaction that you get when you build something that you know you put all your hard work in, and you can really just recognize yourself as like, wow, I did that. Like rather than, you know, discovering something and then you work for a company and then, you know, the CEO takes credit for it, and you're kind of like, no one's gonna ever know that I did that. But also like during these times, like it's hard finding a job. Like a lot of people are realizing like, oh, I might just have to start my own company and be an entrepreneur because no one's hiring. Well, and especially in tech. So one thing I did realize is that as we were traveling around to different countries, that there are so many companies outsourcing. And a lot of new grads are coming out trying to find work, and they're realizing like, oh, I'm gonna have to either move to a different state or another country in order to get a job, just to get the experience and put that on my resume and just show people I have this so I could, you know, look valuable.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's kind of like my last job I worked at. I was a cost estimator in Mare Island, and my old boss was telling me like it's going to be like the '08 crash again, you know, because he went to Berkeley and he graduated in '08 expecting to get a really good, decent job. That didn't happen because of the crash. And he's like, the same thing's going to happen again. And I'm starting to see it. And even now with AI being released, it's going to take away a lot of jobs too. So you have to learn how to use it. And regardless of what they say in school, and I'll tell this to anyone that is going to college now, even on the corporate level, because we do talk to people that want to sponsor Cake Picnic, for example.
Is that something you do? Would you open up for sponsorship?
Yeah, I think it helps us like scale the event and like reach more people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone in those corporate levels, they all use AI. So regardless of what your teacher says, everyone's using it. So learn how to use it, but don't rely too much on it. Know how to talk to people and critically think, but allow it to help you like organize your thoughts and be able to say what you want to say.
Yes. I feel like you both are really complimentary, and it's interesting what you both are
for
taking
sure.
away from Cake Picnic, because I feel like Elisa has said, I want to eat cake like 17 times in Lhasa. And you can see the gleam in her eyes. You can see the gleam in her eyes when she talks about cake. And I mean, I clearly understand why you're doing it. And it's really interesting, Danny, to hear about what your takeaways have been from like organizing it. And it's very sort of what you put in, like what you both are creating, but it's interesting how you're creating different things.
Yeah, we've been listening to a lot of like podcasts because I think we've now, whether we wanted it or not, like been put in a position where we're like, we've built a brand and like such a following. So now we're like, oh, like this is beyond the I want cake. Now there's like features and like products that we're like trying to do a better job of like managing the newsletter and like thinking about the content pillars for Cake Picnic. And so there's this element of like, we're now a startup, and this is so funny because we're just like, wow, we'll be in meetings and like have emails where we're just like, literally we're figuring it out as we go. And so we're like, oh, this is so fun. We're having fun, but it's also stressful because we are like, we don't know what we're doing, but obviously doing the best that we can. And I think that's been such a fun journey.
Yeah, it sounds like that. So what next, I guess, for like Cake Picnic? What are you guys looking into
so
doing?
much. So mentioned earlier, the 2026 Cake Picnic World Tour. I also wrote a cookbook for Cake Picnic, so that's coming out in May 2026.
That's awesome.
Substack.
The Substack newsletter, we've been trying to do a better job of just like, because I think people are so interested globally about Cake Picnic, and even though like we're doing as many stops as we are, there's still so many people that we won't be able to touch or picnic with. And so there's through Substack and the newsletter, we're able to connect more and share more of the experience of like what it might be at the event. And I think that's so cool to be able to share the insights of just like how the day was, what the cakes were, and just sharing that with more people, even though they're not able to physically attend the event.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think the newsletter is another one that we're really excited about, to share more stories of Cake Picnic, the behind the scenes. Because I think up to this point, it's just been very like internal. I don't know if you get this sense of like Cake Picnic is just this entity that like randomly like will announce things and have events, where we want to do a better job of like sharing the behind the scenes of like what we're thinking, how it's like what things are coming up, so people are like part of that journey with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we talk a lot about merch. An example is like this hat that Danny
I love
is
that cap.
wearing.
We're gonna get
The hat is amazing.
No cake, no entry. Like Danny will like literally just come up with ideas for like, what about a cake that, or what about a shoe that has like cake designs on it, and just like rocks engraved with cakes. And so like we're having those discussions a lot of like, he'll have a lot of ideas and then I'll be like, I don't know.
No, but you two are so complimentary
Yeah,
in that
it's
way.
true.
Yeah.
So I
It's
think
great.
that's what's cool too, of like another thing we manage or like work through now is balancing personal and professional. So
I was
like a
gonna
couple of
ask,
weeks
yeah.
ago I had this discussion of like, our relationship is now just Cake Picnic. And then Danny's like, you gotta lock in. So that's another new challenge of Cake Picnic, is like obviously so helpful that he's like leaning in
Yeah.
to scale and help really with the operations and making sure that it's still able to function. But with that comes then the challenge of like, how do you be in a relationship but also like business?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough juggle because I mean, before Cake Picnic, I was just going to all her pop-ups because she has another Instagram account called Salted Rye.
Yeah.
And I would just always just be there for her every time she had an event, help her out, help prepare everything, record videos, take shots of it. And before Cake Picnic, I was kind of just doing Salted Rye.
So yeah, you've still been involved.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, because I'm a caregiver, I go to school, and I'm in a relationship. All my free time kind of goes, whatever free time I have, I just give to her.
Oh.
And if I do have some extra time, I love creating stuff. I either do woodworking, 3D printing, CAD design, or I'm fixing things around the house. So my mind is always all over the place. But I try and keep things interesting by experimenting with Cake Picnic. So it's the cool thing about being an entrepreneur and having your own business is that you get to experiment with stuff. Just test it out, see, like, throw something at a wall, see what sticks.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, you just try something else.
Yeah, on the drive here, actually, since it was like an hour drive, I was like, I have an idea. So what if, like, at the LA Cake Picnic, which is coming up September 27th, we have people write postcards to a baker or an attendee at the next tour stop, and we can give it to them. So it's like they kind of get a note from like a random baker in LA, and you have this moment of like delight or community building where like, wow, like a baker in LA wrote you a note, and then you would pay that forward. The attendees in LA would give it to San Francisco. San Francisco would write postcards for the next city, and so you
Right.
kind of have that moment. So we're like driving, but then having these ideas. So yeah, I guess Cake Picnic is our life now.
Pretty much.
And it's wild that it's not a thing that you even saw. Like it's fairly recent as well, right? It's not.
Yeah, it's just been a year and a half.
But it feels like, because of all the work that you've been in, I'm sure it feels like it's been a
yeah, it
decade.
does feel longer. For
Yeah.
yeah.
Because we're at it every single day. That's all
Yeah.
we kind of think about. I mean, even when I'm in class doing calculus, I'm just like thinking about ideas. I'm even talking to some of my classmates about it. Like, what do you guys think about this? But yeah, it's just like, it is cool. I've worked a lot of jobs before. I've tried many different businesses on my own, but Cake Picnic seems to have more traction and more success. And the biggest thing was the community. And we didn't realize that in the beginning. Like, we had to learn that as we were just talking to people, and just realize that a lot of people out there are really lonely. They want connection. They're thriving for it. And it's so weird because in a time when we're so connected through social media, people are at their loneliest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
And it's weird, but when you, and I think the cool thing about Cake Picnic too is that like not only do you see it on social media, but you get to actually have the opportunity to go to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you get that kind of hybrid
Right.
connection, and it feels organic.
Yeah, I think one of the when I read about your story, I think I was asking myself why this became so big, and I think to your point, I think a lot of people are very lonely, and especially after the pandemic, it was hard to get out and do more
Right.
communal activities, and also to your point, a lot of people are not drinking as much, right? So they're not
Yeah.
going out at night. So you're doing a day picnic in a very accessible space and people can bring their friends and family. It's almost like it's a birthday party,
Yeah.
right?
It's so wholesome.
It's so
It is
wholesome.
so
It's like
wholesome.
you get sugar wasted instead.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple of people that were like worked in tech too, and they were saying that it was like their first time they actually be there in the moment, rather than just being on autopilot all the time.
Yeah.
They were able to actually like remember what happened at the event, and because there was just so much stimuli everywhere, they were able to just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that it's only a couple hours long, so you have the rest of your day to do whatever you want.
Right.
Sweet chaos.
Yeah. I like that it's like for all sorts of archetypes, right? Like an introvert can just get cake and go eat in a
Yep,
corner. If you're an extrovert, you get to talk to so many people. If you're a
Yeah.
baker, it's like
Yes.
an amazing community to learn from.
It's like so diverse
Versatile.
and
Yeah.
varied. Like I think, yeah, the demographic of attendees, it's majority women, but like in terms of like age range,
Yeah.
it's literally like I want to say like high school students all the way to like 60 plus. Like it's
I love
such a
that.
range.
Yeah.
And like at this event, you just have all people from all walks of life. It's like it's like people in like all industries too. So it's not just like a tech event
Yeah.
or like a baking event. It's
Yeah.
literally just people that love flour, butter, and sugar.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's as someone from as outsiders to see it has been amazing.
Aw.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're literally internally we're like just scrappy and like it feels like we're just, flying by the seat of our pants. But I'm glad that from your point of view, it looks amazing.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people appreciate that you guys started this out because like you said, right, like someone just needs to go and do it. And you guys were the ones to do that. And I think a lot of people appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what I love too about Cake Picnic is like, and like for myself and all of the volunteers that help to make it happen, it's like we are literally creating a reality for other people that they also would want. Like I think if we didn't get together and make it happen, like other people wouldn't have that experience or have that event to look forward to.
Yeah.
So it's so special. Yeah. And like what we found too surprising is that whenever we do tour stops, people will travel for it. It's like for London, we had people from Malaysia, Singapore,
wow.
South Africa, Spain,
Wow.
Ireland,
Wasn't
the
Bangladesh
US, Bangladesh, Kuwait. And I'm just
Wow.
like, thank you for like
right.
planning your life around it to make sure that you can attend this event and like eat cake together.
Yeah.
I think it's so much to be like RSVP, yes, I'm gonna go, but for you to be like months ahead planning, buying a plane ticket to come,
And then baking a cake for
Yes,
this event
exactly.
while you're
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
On international
that
soil.
shows the dedication and love. I
Truly.
think those, like the point we made earlier, it's like the Cake Picnic community is self-selecting.
Yes.
Like you're the type of person that will do almost anything for cake. You're the right person. This is the right group.
Those are the people
It's a
you want
little
to
cult
recruit.
for cake.
Yeah, cake cult. That's
Cake
what it
cult.
is. Cake Picnic cult.
Oh,
Yeah.
you should tell them about the people that couldn't get tickets and what they say to you. To try and
Yeah,
get
we
tickets.
get after every ticket drop, like it's just a mixture of like just sadness in the emails of like help, like my wife assigned me the role of getting a ticket and I wasn't able to get a
Oh my
ticket.
God.
Can you please help me
Yeah.
in my relationship? Like giving us a ticket. Of like families being like, my dad really wanted to go. Can we please have a ticket? And just it's the dedication is a lot. I think, yeah,
That's
it's
tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate saying no. I hate saying no to
it's
the
a
person.
balance, right?
I hate saying no to the cake that they would have brought.
More importantly.
But yeah, I wish I could literally just have everyone come.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it was so nice having you guys on
Thank you
our
for having
podcast
us.
with
Yeah,
us.
thank you.
It's so fun to like see something that you're passionate about like come to life, and yeah, I think we're all about that on the podcast.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing all of that. Elisa and Danny are going on tour in 2026, but they do have other events coming up. So do you guys want to give a little bit?
Yes, 2025. It's kind of crazy that it's like August now or September.
Yeah.
And we still have so much going on. But we have September 27 in LA. Following that, we'll have October 4th in Minneapolis, October 19th, Treasure Island in San Francisco.
Oh.
Yes.
When will the tickets go out?
Oh my god. TBD on that one. And then last one will be November 8th in New York.
Okay.
That'll be nice. A fall close.
Yes,
Yeah.
wait. Although teaser though, one of the things that we're excited about, I don't even know how we have the energy for this, but like we're also going to do cookie picnic in December. So it's like I'm a baker, and so every December my Instagram feed is just like cookies. Like I think right after Thanksgiving it just switches from like pie immediately to cookies, and it's so fun. But every year I bake like thousands of cookies for it. So this year we'll do cookie picnic in New York and San Francisco. No cookie, no entry. It's literally the same.
Yeah.
It's just a different baked good. And I'm excited about it because I think that cookie is a different pastry, obviously. And I think that lower barriers to entry. I think anyone can bake a cookie. And it's just fun to end the year with that festive mood of like sharing, exchanging cookies,
Yeah.
but also still ending on a sweet note. So
Yeah.
stay tuned. Follow Cookie Picnic Tour on Instagram for more information on that one.
Yeah. Well, we'll link their socials also on ours, so you guys can have a checkout on their page and their upcoming events. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here for today.
Yay,
so
thank you.
much.
Yeah, thank you for having us, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
Doodles.